Hey, this is Chris with Leacris Computers. Today we're going to go over a very simple way that you can back up all of your personal data off your computer onto a flash drive or an external hard drive. This method does not require any special software. All it does require is that you have some knowledge of what directories you're supposed to copy and where you're supposed to copy them to. So first off, what we want to do, and I'm sorry I don't have a Windows desktop on this secondary monitor, but if you look at your Windows 7 machine, you will see the folder icon down on the taskbar. If you're in Windows 8 or 8.1, you'll want to be in the desktop mode and you'll see that little folder. And quite honestly, I'm not exactly sure about Windows 10. Probably just don't want to do a search for computer, and that will come up in the results and you can just click on that. So clicking on the folder icon brings up this page. Under Libraries, if you look down the left-hand column, you'll see Favorites, Libraries, Computer, and Network. So you see that I have two hard drives on this computer right now. I have my local disk C and my secondary hard drive D. Now what I want to do is plug in my external hard drive. So I will take the USB connector and I will plug it into the port there and give it a second to be recognized. And there you see drive E, and then you see the typical autoplay. If you haven't set any default options, this is what will come up, but we can just exit out of that. So now if you look at the cursor, you see we have drive C, drive D, drive E. So whatever we're going to save, we want to put that onto drive E. So the files we want are on drive C. Let's find out where those files are. So we double click on drive C. And in the right hand column, I'll move that over a little bit, we want to go to the users directory. Now whether this is Windows 7, 8, or 10, this file system hierarchy is valid. So all these instructions from here on out apply equally to any of the newer versions of Windows. XP is different. If you want to know how to do it in XP, send me a message and I can tell you which directory to look in. So we want to look in the users directory. And we see there's two directories, CD and public. Now CD is my user directory. When I log into Windows from the start screen, that's what my icon says. Now your directory name may or may not agree with your account name. That's really not important. The only important thing is to get the right directory. So whichever one's basically not public is the one you want to copy. So we want to find out how big our CD directory is because we want to make sure that we have enough space on our external hard drive to put all this information. So first let's look at local disk E. If we right click on that and hit properties, we'll see that this drive is 115 gigabytes. It's actually a 120 gigabyte hard drive. And I have approximately, let's just say 35 gigabytes of data on there right now. It leaves me about 80 gigabytes of data. I'm not going to get real exact with it. So go to the user directory CD and click on properties. And you'll see that Windows counts up the number of gigabytes in that directory. And it usually takes a little bit if you have a lot of stuff in there. If you don't have a lot of stuff in there, it won't take very long. And so we're waiting on that. Looking good so far. Looks like we've got plenty of room. 80 gigs free. We're only up to about 15 gigs now. Oh, jumped up to 44.7. It'll often do that. Now the important thing to understand about this figure here, the 44.7 gigabytes, is that this is the total amount of data in your user directory. This does not mean we are going to be copying all of this data. A lot of the data in a user directory is in hidden folders that does not need to be copied because that's just the way Windows works. It's important data. It's data that you need for your programs to work. A lot of settings and things are found there, but they are not, that kind of data is not your user data. In other words, it's not pictures, it's not documents. It's not things that you have generated. These are files that Windows generates all by itself just to keep its house in order. So, but we can see that we have 80 gigabytes free on drive E, and we have 44.78, gigabytes total in our user directory. So we have plenty of room to spare. If it was closer, we might want to look at it a different way, but since we have plenty of room to spare, we can hit OK. Now, what we want to do is, we've got CD here is my directory, so we want to go to the local disk, and we want to click on New, and we want to make a new folder, and we want to name it the same thing that our user directory, CD, or whatever your user directory. You can make it whatever name you want to be, but it's good to have it the same name, I think. So now we have directory CD on our local disk. We want to open that, and we see that as an empty directory. So that's good. So we go back to drive C, CD. Here's everything in our CD directory once we open it. So what we want to do is we want to drag, left click and drag to select all of these things. Once they're all selected, you'll see that light blue color. You want to right click anywhere in that blue color and hit copy. Copy that. Go back to your drive E. Go back to your CD folder. Go anywhere in this box right here because the folder is empty, and hit paste. So this is a copy, just simply a copy and paste operation. And then we'll see, oh, it's 29.9 gigabytes of actual user files, not the 44.8 that was displayed for the total amount of data in that directory, in my user directory. So this will take some time. If you have, it generally does take about 2 minutes, 3 minutes a gigabyte, something like that, total. So just count on that. Count on it taking some time. These countdowns are notoriously unreliable. It might be 14 minutes, it might be 25 minutes or 30 minutes. It just depends. It really depends mostly on the number of files more than the size. So we have it's almost 7,000 files, so that's going to take a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here. Okay, now it's finished. I had to do a little cleanup on my disk E. One of the things I would recommend is that you do get a hard drive that you just use for backups and not use it on a daily basis. I'm just using this drive. I'm just using this for an example, and I'm going to delete these things because I've already got it on another hard drive. But I wanted to show you the entire process. But if you have a clean hard drive that you just use for your computer backups, that works much better. So we've got all of our CD user directory files here. Now these are all on the E drive, so this is an exact copy of what was in our user directory on the C drive. Now, next week, let's say you want to do this again. You want to copy your, you want to back up your data again. And you're probably wondering, is it going to take another half an hour to do it? And probably not. Probably not, because of a cool little feature of Windows that I'm going to show you right now. So let's pretend it's next week. We go back to our C drive, go back to our user directory, go back to CD. Once again, we highlight everything by left clicking and dragging, right click to copy, go to, scroll down here to your E drive, go to your CD directory, your user directory in other words. There, find a little blank space, right click, hit paste. Now, let's see what happens here. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to go confirm folder replace. The destination already contains a folder naming reachit. If any files have the same names, you'll be asked if you want to replace those files. Do you still want to merge this folder? If so, what Windows is saying here is like it knows the names of the files in the CD directory on the E drive, and it knows the names of the files in your user directory on your C drive. And so Windows is saying, I found some file names that are the same. So what do you want me to do with these files if I find one on the E drive that I'm trying to copy? And what you want to do is do you still want to merge this folder? Yes, you do. And so you want to go down here and click do this for all current items and click on yes. And this will automatically merge the folders. Then as it goes through each folder, it's going to ask you what to do with each individual file. Fortunately, you don't have to decide with each individual file. You can just do it's like a batch file almost. So do you want to copy and replace? You could copy and replace if you want to, but there's no sense copying to your E drive from your C drive everything that's already on the E drive. So what you want to do is click the do this for the next 51 conflicts, otherwise they'll ask you over and over and over the same question. You want to say don't copy everything. So in other words, Windows is only going to copy the files that aren't already on the E drive. So select don't copy. And there you go. And since there's really nothing to copy, this is not going to take very long because, of course, there's no new file. I haven't generated any new files. And so see, it's just going down through the files. And voila, it's already done. So that's all it does. And so then you are completely up to date again. So this makes it very easy on a weekly basis, or as often as you'd like to do it, to just, as you accumulate more files in your user directory, it's very easy to copy them onto an external hard drive. And as you can see, if you do it on a weekly basis, it will probably only take you 5 minutes at the most to do these things. The other advantage of doing it this way is that if you are in your user directory, and let's say you go into downloads and you delete a bunch of things to save room in your user directory, in other words, in your hard drive on your computer, those files will be gone from your C drive, but they will still be on your E drive, and they will not be erased unless you specifically go to your E drive to erase those files. And so it is a cumulative kind of thing where you will have files that you no longer have on your C drive, but they'll still be on your E drive, unless, of course, you go to the E drive and delete those on purpose. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Like I said, it doesn't require any software, and all you have to know is the location, really, of 2 directories. Your user directory, which is in C/users/whatever your username is, and the name of the directory that you have named, hopefully the same as your user directory, on your external hard drive. And so really the only thing you have to do the first time through is make sure you have enough space on your external drive. And I would recommend an external hard drive and not a flash drive. And I would recommend that you use this external hard drive just for backups. So if you have any questions, you can message me on Facebook. We're going to post this on our YouTube account, but we are going to mirror it on the Facebook. And so if you have any questions, you can message us at Facebook. Or you can call us at 919-518-6649. Or you can come by and see us at 119 Old Warehouse Square in downtown Oxford, North Carolina. You can call the number for directions. Unfortunately, it doesn't come up correctly on Google Maps. It'll get you close, but it's the wrong side of College Street. Anyway, until next week,